Cleveland Browns running back Quinshon Judkins, who still is yet to be signed by the Browns, he's not currently under contract, will not face formal charges from his alleged incident in South Florida. This just breaking. What's the impact? How much momentum does Dylan Sampson have? How many people will be flooding in saying, yeah, he's going? You don't know yet. Dylan Sampson's got a big, huge head start. And while they did draft this kid to be the first and second down back, and they did draft Dylan Sampson to be the third down back, this is a one-dimensional player. You have to know that. Sampson's got a foothold on the PPR work no matter what. They've already said sky's the limit. Before the negative stuff started, building, and this is good for him, standing ovation for anybody that's, been accused of something in this case that there's not even a strong enough case for prosecutors to move forward. So good for him, first of all.
Mashed potatoes!
Okay, but being objective here, because a lot of people want to know, they have a narrative. They want to know the truth, but then they don't want to hear it. There's a tough uphill climb for Judkins to get the full-time job now. It's also harder objectively for Dylan Sampson to hold off Judkins and have the full-time job by himself. You still have Jerome Ford involved. So this is a hard thing for people to digest, even for Dylan Sampson believers. There's going to be three sides of this coin. Ford, Judkins, Sampson. We'll break it all down right now in a very objective fashion. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
As of right now, Sampson has a major edge on Judkins, no matter what the pecking order was on draft day. They drafted Dylan Sampson for a reason. They drafted Judkins for a reason. But one has fallen behind and one hasn't. So before everybody gets too far ahead here and puts their cart so far in front of their horse you can't even see it, calm down a little bit and realize that this is still very problematic. This is like a player holding out, especially a rookie, not being able to absorb or learn. And depending on what evidence the NFL had, they could still look into something themselves, because the NFL has more information than the police sometimes. But from what it sounds like, there was not enough of anything to go on. The report here says that details of this decision were based on several factors, including late reporting of the alleged incident to police, no surveillance video, and no independent witnesses. The state's attorney says there were videos seen during the same time frame that showed the victim with injuries. Didn't see the victim with injuries. So there's no evidence whatsoever, as he said, she said, and so it got thrown out. So I don't think the NFL would have anything. I'm just saying that in general, the NFL still could say, just because charges weren't pressed, the NFL could say, you put yourself in this position. There's nothing here to suggest that there is any position he put himself in, is what I'm trying to say. So, the NFL can take action, probably won't, because there's nothing here. This is one of those cases where it definitely feels like there's nothing here. There's nothing burger here. And so what happens now? We go back to square one. Square one is Judkins gets signed. He has not been signed yet. Judkins probably does not have any sort of legal discipline by the NFL. There's no commissioner exempt list, nothing like that. And he goes straight into practice and he starts ramping up. Now it is August 14. Let's say he gets there on Monday. I don't know. Maybe he shows up on Friday. We don't really know. But let's say he shows up on Monday to actually practice. Let's just put that timetable on it. He's got very little time to catch up and become the team's starting running back. And no one's saying that Ford wouldn't hold him off even if Judkins was present, like Dylan Sampson. It's very possible Ford would have that job. Ford's been banged up, though. Sampson's been running with the first team. Sampson's been enduring everything that a rookie running back needs to endure to get to a certain level. Judkins is way behind, just like Najee's way behind. Najee's a veteran player that's walking into a absolute buzzsaw of just overwhelmed feelings when he comes back because Hampton's been absorbing everything. And Najee, just like Hampton, was new to the offense. So Najee's not in some advantageous position because he's a veteran. Hampton overtook him. No matter what happens with Najee, Hampton's already surpassed him. Now, Judkins with the draft capital, a little bit more draft capital than Dylan Sampson, probably gets a little more leeway to gain his job back. But that doesn't mean he's ever going to replace Sampson's PPR presence in the offense. And that's something we've said from the jump before there was any sort of legal problems for Judkins. It was, hey, Sampson objectively has a tougher climb to the lineup than Judkins. Judkins has the draft capital, and Judkins is probably looking like a cemented in first and second down running back, while Dylan Sampson takes all the PPR work. Thus, they kind of neutralize each other's upside to a degree, although Judkins can still get 8 to 9 to 10 touchdowns and 900 yards on the ground his rookie year if everything was to go as planned, which it did not. So where are we now? We're in a territory of ambiguity. We don't know what's going on. I don't know if Sampson's going to hold him off for week 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if Judkins will pick things up so quickly and they say, hey, it doesn't matter because Ford's starting and Dylan Sampson and Judkins really aren't that far apart because of that reason. Or does Dylan Sampson get on the field on third and down and then eventually you have Judkins try and get the first and second down work, but Dylan Sampson's so effective, he gets the job. No one really knows. All I know is there's going to be objectives here. There are going to be a lot of people that think that this is a meal ticket into starting running back opportunity. It's not quite that simple. That's what I'm mainly here to tell you. It's not quite simple for Dylan Sampson anymore either. That is also a very objective take coming from a very big Dylan Sampson supporter. Just keep in mind that when this thing started, you had 2 RBs. One was the PPR running back, and that was Sampson. And then the other one was Judkins, who was the first and second down running back. That is the pecking order of this thing. Can't even read that. That is how they set this thing up from the start. Judkins was the first and second down back. Dylan Sampson was the third down back. That is how they designed it from the jump. It's not Judkins, it's Judkins and Sampson. Right now, Sampson's got the edge. Judkins has got to climb back in. No one's saying he can't. But this is now a tougher uphill battle for him, at least early on, than it is for Sampson, who has a foothold on what's going on right now, especially with Ford being banged up here and there. Tough to say how it's going to really play out. I just know that what you're about to hear and see in the chat, and I'm trying to bring objectivity to this. You're going to see a lot of different people fighting for their side. That's all you're really going to see. There isn't going to be a lot of objectivity when you're talking to a Judkins owner or somebody that took stabs in best ball and they're so happy right now. They're over celebrating. We don't know how it's going to go. We'll open the phone lines and see what you all think. But Judkins, no charges. Good for him. Good on him. And good for the Browns to just have another weapon. But it is now back to cloudy season in the running back room in Cleveland. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
This will be interesting to see how many of you can actually look through clear lenses, because this is not going to be a clear situation. It's just not. It was cloudy from the beginning until it got cleared up by the Judkins situation that we thought we were enduring. This happened quickly too, though. This happened real quickly how this unfolded. Interesting that they did appear to come to this conclusion so quickly. That does bode well for the fact that there was really nothing to hang on to. And what happens is, in this kind of situation, a judge does understand the life impact this has. And it does kind of worry me a little bit about Isaiah Bond's situation, because it doesn't feel like things are being rushed along there. There must be more alleged evidence that they're looking at. But to speed this along and to take into consideration his life and what he's going through and how important it is for him to get back on the field and to get his contract signed, and that his livelihood, his future is on the line. This bodes well for the fact that there's nothing the NFL is going to be having in their grips on that would make them say, even though you're innocent, and the NFL does this, even though you're innocent, you put yourself in this position. I don't think there's anything that the NFL is going to find on that. Otherwise, this thing wouldn't have been wrapped up so quick. So hard to say how it's gonna go. As I mentioned, the decision came down as the incident was not captured on any video surveillance. There are no independent witnesses to the incident, although the victim had photos showing injuries sustained. There was also video in that same time frame where no injuries were observed to the victim. Additionally, the victim's injuries depicted that photos could be explained by either account of the incident. Finally, there was a delay in report of the incident. The delay is problematic as the victim was alone on numerous occasions without the defendant, had the ability and resources to make a report without his knowledge, but chose not to do so. For that reason set forth above, there is no reasonable likelihood of conviction, and this case is being declined. That is coming from the attorney's office, the state attorney's office, and their decision. So good for Judkins, because it does sound like, in my opinion anyway, that this was, as many wanted to and said it probably was, kind of a bad case, we could say. And I wish that there was something in the court systems and in the system that would allow or have some sort of repercussion to somebody that does make a claim that gets thrown out this badly without any sort of evidence. Not saying that in this case you can prove that something didn't necessarily go down a certain way, that maybe was blown out of proportion. I'm not saying that the victim has like no argument whatsoever. We don't really know that, but it does suck that some of these guys that are walking into the league get accused of stuff, and we've seen this a couple times now with different players, and there's no evidence whatsoever, and their life gets turned upside down. Isaiah Bond, again, I'm not saying Isaiah Bond is innocent or guilty, but I would make an assumption that either he's got some pretty crappy people looking over his situation, and this judge and everybody, or this not this judge, but this attorney's office is looking out for, somebody that they don't want to have his life ruined and turned upside down when there's no evidence to go after. So I'm hoping that Isaiah Bond's situation clears up too, but I haven't seen any movement on that front at all. So Isaiah Bond looks kind of toast at this point, but we'll keep tabs on that. Phone line's open. Travis, go ahead. You're live.
Yeah, so I get told people I hate them because it's Samson. And I think if you're looking at it unbiasedly, it's a wait and see type of scheme where Judkins a lot, and see what comes out of Brown's camp and see what goes on with it. Like you said, it's the end of work. Judkins can't good.
We might not be getting audio from you, Travis. Hold on a second. I don't think anybody can hear you. Hold on. Let me switch over. Let's see here. Hold on, guys. Let me switch Travis over to this. All right, go ahead, Travis. Sorry about that. Yeah, I hear you. So you were just saying, go ahead and repeat it within like a sentence or two if you can. Travis?
I was just saying, until we know more, we have to kind of wait for it goes. What happens when he gets back into camp, how soon he can get. If he's in game shape, he probably isn't quite there right now. I'm sure he's still working out, obviously. I get told I don't like Judkins because I don't discount. If you're looking at it unbiasedly, you have to consider.
Well, I think what this is the way you got to look at it. Like I said, at the beginning of the year, you had Dylan Sampson, and this is just this is facts. This is not debatable. because the team had said the sky's the limit right from the jump. This guy's the guy we brought in to catch passes. So Sampson was getting 1/3 of the backfield or of the running back usage. And you're going to have 2/3 of it going to Judkins. And this is if they both beat out Jerome Ford, which is not something that's going to necessarily be the case, especially now if Ford's healthy enough to even play. But even when the season was going to begin with these two guys full go, you still had the Ford problem. But eventually, this is kind of the thought. It was going to be 2/3 of the backfield going to Judkins. First, we'll just make it simple with the math. First down, second down, third down. Now, it doesn't mean that he won't play on some second downs. It doesn't mean he won't play on some third downs. This is just kind of in general. This is the way we're looking at it. Now, this PPR work is super important, though. It can almost trump some of this and make this kind of an even split, essentially. So Sampson and Judkins were in a full-blown running back by committee, by design, based on their draft capital, based on the assessments of the team, based on the early camp work and how they both looked. Sampson looked good. Judkins looks good. And so this is what you had. The only problem now for Judkins is that Sampson's jumped into this side and grabbed a whole bunch of it and learned the offense, and now he's got to fight for it back. The only way you can convince me that this is going to be a quick process to regain and recapture his 2/3 likely lion's share of the carries and workload, it is that the team is just fully committed to him. And they say the draft capital is uber important to us. But this is also a team that drafted 2 quarterbacks without considering really the draft capital, and they're now weighing that out. They drafted 2 running backs where they're kind of like, okay, they're doubling up on everything like NASA because they don't believe in themselves, I think is what it comes down to. These guys have shot blanks at the quarterback position so much they don't trust their own judgment. They drafted 2 running backs. They drafted 2 quarterbacks. They're doubling up on everything they can. I don't know that they're so cemented into Judkins that they're just going to go, okay, he's our draft capital guy, our highest draft capital running back, push everything in on the Judkins front. They're probably saying, Sampson's pretty well versed. Let's catch him up. Let's see what's what. If he starts looking really good, we give him more work. If he looks better than Sampson, we give him more work, and then he can take over the job. Ultimately, what this comes down to is at best, Judkins is going to grab 50% of the work if, let's say, Ford was removed from the equation, which he's not, so it's more complicated than this. And Sampson's got to play badly. If Sampson doesn't play well and he looks behind and he starts fumbling the ball or something, then Judkins is going to get these unprepared opportunities that he might just hit out of the park because he's angry, he's determined, he's going to go out there and get every inch he can, and maybe he earns the job back. There's an opportunity and road for that. There's a road for both of these. But the only thing I'll say is the people that are coming in and acting like this is back to Judkins is being handed right to him, and he doesn't have to earn it and rip it from this kid who's one of the better running backs in this draft class. Sampson I had ranked way higher than Judkins on draft day and before, leading up all the way back to January. By far and away the better running back. I'm sorry that you have to hear that from me right now. If you're really excited about Judkins, Sampson's by far and away the better running back. That's not because I'm biased. That's my assessment before there were any landing spots. That's as unbiased as you can get. Now, you might say, Smitty, your assessment of him holding on to it's biased. You can think whatever you want. I'm being pretty damn objective by saying he just got kicked in the sack today. Sampson got kicked in the sack today because now he has a higher draft capital running back returning to the team. So this is a lot more complicated than a lot of people want it to be on both sides. It's complicated. It's a running back by committee. And this guy's got a lot of work to do to catch up to where this guy's going. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead, Travis.
I was just saying I agree with you. And again, I get told I don't like Judkins because of this. But I think Sampson, I think Judkins can be very good. I like Sampson better because what he can do in the PPR game. People underestimate how good he is with the ball. He's fast. He's more agile than Judkins. And people say Judkins is like a wicked explosive guy. He doesn't have breakaway speed. And again, no, I sound like a hater of Judkins. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying why the people in the chat say how horrible take. Well, why Sampson could be right there with Judkins.
Well, those people own Judkins. It's that simple. There's almost nothing to figure out. You know, anybody that says, like, there's some guy here is saying, horrible take, this guy thinks he knows more than the front offices. Why do you think I'd be here, bro? If I didn't really believe that I feel like I have a good handle on this. You think I'd create a channel? You think people will watch me if I was some bozo that didn't even know anything about this stuff, had no track record of calling this stuff right? You know, this is no different than talking about Penix Jr. when everybody came in here and said he's trash. He's horrible, Smitty. He won't stay healthy. He's horrible. He's not a first rounder. Do you think you know more than the front offices that say all these GMs are saying that Penix Jr. won't be a first round grade player? Like, do you think you know more than these front offices? Bro, what do you think I'm doing here? You think I come out here and go, hey, I don't know anything and all these GMs know more than me, but I'm going to come out here and try and talk about it. I'm going to come out here and try and tell you what to do with your teams, even though I don't know more than anybody. Like, what do you think this is? Some Mickey Mouse operation? So you can go somewhere else. I guess we just gotta wait. We gotta wait this out. There's no other option than to wait this out. But I will say this again. I said this from the top. The strong stances on both sides will have agendas. Just know that as you're reading the chat. And I don't blame anybody. You guys that are heavy Judkins, you're just ecstatic and you want it to work out, and it could. But, you know, everybody's saying that it's crazy to like Dylan Sampson over Judkins. You clearly weren't here in January, February, and March when I was doing my evals. And that's exactly how I had it. And that's exactly how I have it now. The concern for anybody that owns Judkins is just how good will Dylan Sampson be? If he's lights out, then it's going to be really, really, really hard for Judkins to get the opportunity to have this backfield to himself. Does it mean Judkins won't get any work? No. Yeah, but that's it. Do I have another caller on the phone here? Hold on, let me see. You might have hung up. Sorry, bro. Anybody else wants to dial in?
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Let me get this super chat here real quickly, and then we'll see if anybody else wants to jump on and talk about this. Fernando says, Dynasty PPR, would you move my MHJ for Walker and Ayuk? No, I would not. Ayuk doesn't move the needle at all for me. In MHJ, I draft over Walker as much as I love him. He's still a running back with an injury history that has not a long-term future. I mean, we'll be lucky if Walker's an elite running back for 2 more years. I hate to say that. Maybe 2.5, 3. And MHJ's just getting going. You might have like 7 years with him, you know? Maybe more. So, no way. Not a chance in hell. Ayuk, I don't... You know, when you think about Ayuk is going to play this year and barely, right? He's going to play trash. He's not going to be ready till mid-season. He's going to play trash. So he really won't play. You know, he'll kind of play, but he's not going to really play. Not really. So what happens to Ayuk? He missed all of last year. He's going to miss most of this year and really miss the whole year in theory. And then he comes in and he plays what? One year on his contract, and then he's in a contract year. So Ayuk's gonna play 1 year, essentially 1 year on his new contract, and then he's gonna demand a new deal. Oh my God, I can't even wait till that offseason. Probably have 900 yards to his name. I want nothing to do with Ayuk, bro. Nothing to do with him. Spencer says Judkins literally couldn't be the best running back in the draft if he's not a 3-down back. I mean, I think you're suggesting what I think you're suggesting, but yeah.
Yeah, I think he's replying to the guy that keeps saying, "God, back in this draft."
Oh yeah, that's bro. Don't let that guy have his moment. You know what I mean? Like some people are gonna know and some people aren't. Just let him have his moment. Judkins, good for you. You got this. Hendy to catch it, bro. Hendy took another. I got this on my Instagram. Hendy took another ball to the house in a practice, a joint practice, and I'll put this up real quick and show you. But he is just an unbelievable machine. Look at this by Hendy catching this 70-yard touchdown. He just gets behind defenders. He's too quick for anybody to corral, and he's one of the most explosive players in the National Football League, and he hasn't even carried the ball once in a regular season game. He's probably a top 5 weapon in the league immediately. The first minute he's on the field, I will consider him a top 5 weapon in the National Football League. He is Gibbs 2.0. Judkins couldn't hold his jock strap. Not even one side of his jock strap. If you cut his jock strap in half and handed one to him, half of it, he wouldn't be able to hold it. Like, I mean, and Hendy and Genty, and I mean, like Judkins, good for Judkins. It's a good day for Judkins, but this is still a mediocre to good running back that could become something special if the situation allowed it. You know, this is a running back that doesn't have even near the skills that a Hendy has, or a Genty, or Harvey. But if you put Judkins in the right spot, and this isn't the right spot right now, because you got another running back that's more talented overall in Dylan Sampson, now in a driver's seat where Judkins is getting back in the vehicle, in the front seat, and he's in the passenger seat. He's trying to move Dylan Sampson over to the middle and climb over him and get a hold of the wheel, like, certainly. So this is not good for Sampson. Sampson gets kicked in the nutsack as well, you know, with this news. But Judkins does not walk straight back in. Judkins walks back in. It's like an apartment that he had that he was renting, and the new tenant's in there. Like, he's got to go in and take them out and rip them out of the. Yeah, bro, don't even bother arguing. Just let that guy, whoever it is, I'm not even reading his comments. Let him say whatever he wants. Don't waste your breath on it. Harvey, Hendy, Genty, anybody that says Judkins is better than any one of those three, you just gotta let him be, bro. It's like talking to a wall. You're just wasting your breath having a conversation about that. Did I put that caller on hold? Here, dial in one more time.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
All right, where were we, Travis? What were you saying?
I wouldn't say a lot of Judkins. Like you said, it's their moment. Let them have it.
Well, also this news captures, you know, Brown's, you know, seekers right now. There's Judkins, you know, new people to the channel. We welcome everybody to the channel.
Subscribe. Articulate why he's better than.
They can't though.
Okay.
They can't though. So they're not gonna. They can say it in the chat, but they can't articulate it. Harvey over Judkins, you bet your bottom dollar. All right, let me get this caller in. All right, caller, what is your name and where are you calling from? 831.
Smitty.
What's up? Who's this?
North Cal, and it's Carlos.
Carlos, what's up, my boy?
What's up? I have some questions. All right, so, like, I know the feedback you're giving, you know, like, don't just go all in on Judkins, you know? Like, Sampson is still there.
Sure.
I like that you're doing that. So let's say Judkins does get the role, and he is RB1. How high are you on him now?
Well, so this is a tough hypothetical because you're asking me to jump through a bunch of hoops that aren't there. So if, let's say, Sampson got traded or abducted by aliens and Ford could not stay healthy, and this is only Judkins in the backfield, because Sampson's not going to just give up the PPR work, bro. The team has already told you the sky's the limit for Dylan Sampson before any of the legal problems emerge. The sky is the limit for Dylan Sampson in the receiving game. He is their third down back that they drafted. It's the reason why they drafted him. So unless he gets abducted by aliens or injured, you're not getting your wish that Judkins is a 3-down back in this league. You're just not. But if Judkins was, he would become a player that you probably, let me sort by running backs right now. I would say you're looking at a Tony Pollard potential, which is pretty good. I mean, Tony Pollard had 1,000 yards last year and 5 TDs, 238 yards receiving, 41 receptions. I mean, that's a running back 2-3 in fantasy. That's a pretty high bar. That's a pretty good player. That's what he is. He's not a Hendy. He's not a Trey Henderson. He's not a RJ Harvey. RJ Harvey and Trey Henderson are going to catch 70 balls apiece this year. If you have RJ Harvey and Hendy on your team, you're getting 140 receptions. You know, so it's just they're different players. It doesn't mean, look, Pollard's a starting running back. Like, Quinshon Judkins can be a starting running back in this league. No, never once have I said he's not a good player. He's just not elite. He's not an elite player on any level. But is he a good player? Sure. Does he belong in the NFL? Absolutely. Could he be, and let me find another name. If Tony Pollard ain't tickling your fancy, we could call him, you know, a little bit better Brian Robinson Jr. We could probably call him a let's see here. I mean, Caleb Johnson isn't become what, you know, nothing to compare yet, but like that's where I see Caleb Johnson too. He's not special. He's good. I think Pollard's the best I can come up with right now. I think Chuba's better. I think, you know, Aaron Jones in his prime better. Obviously now Aaron Jones is not. DeAndre Swift, they're different players, so it's hard to compare it, but, you know, could he be DeAndre Swift-esque a little bit? The divide in workload might be different, or maybe not, because, I mean, Swift didn't actually get a ton of work in the receiving game like he should. 959 yards and 6 TDs last year for DeAndre Swift, 42 receptions for 386. I mean, that sounds about the same as Pollard. So, yeah, I'd say Swift and Pollard are your ceiling values for Judkins. Might not be what you want to hear. I know Judkins owners are going to get upset in the chat, but you know, some people don't take the truth very well. And then they just call me names.
You know, like, I have a Dynasty rookie draft soon, like literally in 2 days, so this kind of shakes things up, you know?
It shakes things up.
And I was really thinking of going Harvey, but I mean, it's good to hear like these things about Judkins at least.
You better not go Judkins over Harvey.
But it's like good to hear things about.
You better not go Judkins over Harvey, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm big on Harvey. I'm probably gonna get Travis and Harvey in my dynasty.
Yeah.
I did a redraft as well.
Do not.
I got both of them on my team.
Yeah. This is great news though, because there are so many Judkins investors already, and what you end up having in fantasy football is you could call it like an affection of sorts. When a player or a fantasy owner drafts Judkins in one league, they want to believe that the players, you know, like let's say they believe that Judkins is better than Harvey because they drafted him, and then they kind of regret it like deep down inside because they keep hearing stuff, or they truly have convinced themselves that Judkins is better, and they're hearing people like me tell you that it's not the case, and they get really mad and upset, call me names. It's just the way it is. There's an infection type of scenario here where the person's going to continue to draft Judkins over Harvey to solidify their investment, so to speak. So there is a strong chance that this does vault Judkins in some cases ahead of Harvey for some people, and that will in turn push Harvey down a little bit more potentially. especially in like a rookie draft setting. That's great news. Anytime you can get a better player lower, you take it. So this could be a W for Harvey owners. But bro, I'm telling you right now, this guy's in a committee that unfortunately is on the wrong side of it right now. He could earn it back. In no way, shape, or form am I saying it's an impossible feat for Judkins to take the job, the primary part of the job back. But Sampson ain't going anywhere, bro. And this is a full-blown committee in an offense that is kind of questionable. And I love Shedeur, but do the Browns love Shedeur? And will they commit to Shedeur? How quickly will they commit to Shedeur? How good will this offense be? Will it putter along a little bit? Do they have enough overall weapons? And is the coaching staff where they need to be? Will this be ultra productive? Harvey lives in an environment, my man, where rookie running backs grab 181 receptions. Kamara caught 81 footballs his rookie year in Sean Payton's offense. There's no concern about Harvey's role whatsoever. And anybody concerned about Harvey is not listening.
I hear you.
But do what you got to do. Be you. Don't. If you're hard to set on Judkins, you go do you, my man. All right, later, bro. Appreciate you. Yeah. But there's just almost zero leg to stand on. you can try. Anybody wants to call in and argue Judkins versus Harvey, my phone line is open for you.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Harvey and Hendy, the Hendy doubt's subsiding a lot because he's doing things. He's multiple long 70+ yard touchdowns in the same week and a half. It is starting to make people that are Hendy, they were Hendy doubters. They're kind of just backing up and pretending they didn't say anything negative, but they're not necessarily talking. But the Harvey doubters, they're really loud. Really loud right now. All right. Anything else, Travis? Surprised no one else has anything to say on this one. Let me get these super chats.
Happy. Remember, he has a ton of
yeah. And I'll be honest, if the price was right, I'd take it. But I don't think the price will be right because I think that like I said, the infection where people have so many shares already, they're going to double down to make themselves feel better and to reassure themselves rather than say, you know what, I got enough of this. Kind of escaped a potential, bad situation maybe. And let me just, now that I've got him, let me pivot and go get some RJ Harvey. But no, a lot of people won't do that because they're stubborn. They don't want to hear. They listen to me, but they don't want to hear him. 10-man, 1 QB dynasty, ready to win now. My AJB for Rice. I take Rice, bro, over AJB in redraft, let alone dynasty. Dynasty, I smash it. I run to hit that button. And redraft, I could understand not running. I'd fast walk. Breaking Bad analogy. Samson is Heisenberg. Judkins is Jesse. And Ford is Saul. Samsonite is the one who knocks. Yeah, Sam, I don't disagree with you that Samson's the better player, obviously. I mean, the thing that's so funny is, I'm sitting here telling everyone that the better player is Samson, but he just now faces more competition and it's not good for him either. Not saying he can't rise above it either, though. Samson can rise above this and hang on to the job. Judkins could rise above and grab the job back. But Judkins is in a disadvantage spot, right? He's not in an advantageous spot. He's in a better spot than he was, I'll tell you that. But there's no he walks right back into where he was. But we'll see what happens. I mean, what if Samson, can't stay healthy or he fumbles the ball? Then it's, open door. The good news for Judkins is that he has the draft capital for them not to pull the plug. You know, whereas Sampson, he's got a little bit less draft capital. So if he was to like fumble a couple times, they wouldn't feel as obligated. That's why draft capital is important. Some people say, you know, draft capital doesn't matter. Some people say it matters too much. But it does matter in the sense that you're not going to be given up on very easily if you're a second round pick. You're a third round pick. You know, sometimes when you're a later pick, the later you go, and even if one person's a second and one's a third, the later you go, the less commitment you have financially and also perceived value-wise. That's why it was idiotic for the Browns to draft Gabriel ahead of Shedeur, because it puts the better player in a disadvantageous situation and position. And then what happens is you might say, oh, but that's great because they don't, if he doesn't work out, they can move on. It's not great because look how confusing it is for the Browns right now. They're kind of obligated to look at Dylan Gabriel, and they're kind of obligated to not so much trust in the guy they drafted after, the guy they almost totally passed on. So, you know, it's not always the smartest thing to have the better player second. But when Judkins is drafted ahead of Dylan Sampson, it puts Judkins in a more advantageous position because he does indeed have a longer leash, so to speak. So taking the job back from Dylan Sampson, who's clearly got an edge right now, won't be as hard as it would have been for Dylan Sampson to take it away from Judkins had Judkins never left the situation, if that makes sense. So that's kind of where we're at right now. As far as Judkins' ADP, right now on Underdog, promo code Smitty will draft tonight. Make sure you hit the link that's in the live chat that I'm about to drop. Make sure you use code Smitty, sign up on Underdog, and we will jump in a draft tonight, and we'll see where Judkins goes together. But as of right now, and make sure you sign up now. I just dropped the link. I'm going to pin it in the live chat. Make sure you sign up now because if you don't, you won't get into the draft. You just need, it takes 2 minutes to sign up and get it all taken care of. If we look at Judkins' ADP, which has been plummeting because, you know, people are expecting him potentially not to play at all this year, and now he's climbing. He's climbing. Let's see here. Let's find his ADP. Quinshon Judkins. He's going at 152. 152. Right above him is Ramondre, J.K., Javonte. Rashad White is below him. Najee Harris is below him. This is cellar dweller territory. That is, I would take him there, but that's not where he's going to be tomorrow. That's where he is today. And that's where he was when you were maybe taking a player that could get you 0 points or might get you 0 points until week 12 or 14. But this definitely changes things. And his ADP goes from 150, I imagine, all the way up to Aaron Jones. Mixon, probably above Brian Robinson, maybe above Mixon for now, unless Mixon returns, and Mixon will climb back above him. But that puts him at about 85. He's going to go from, what was the number I just said? What was it? Where the hell did I? Oh, 152 to 85. That's a crazy climb. And ADP wise, that is 85 is going to put him right at the tail end, or the first pick in round 8.1. So he goes from probably 12th round. For those asking about his ADP, he goes from a 12th rounder no longer to probably 8.1. So would I take Judkins here? Of course. If anybody wants to know where my line in the sand is, it's not even this late. I could definitely climb higher than that. But am I taking Judkins at 8.1? Well, if you go to 85 overall, and we look at the players that are available at 85 overall, we're talking about Jordan Mason. I'd rather have Jordan Mason. Patrick Mahomes at 82. No brainer, of course. Jaden Reed at 81. Shakir at 83. I could call those even, honestly. Josh Downs. I could argue either one of those. Hawkinson. Probably rather have Hawkinson by a little bit. Bo Nix. Rather have Bo Nix by a landslide if I didn't have a quarterback. ETN. The thing about ETN is, in a non-best ball, I'd rather have Judkins, maybe, but maybe not. It depends on the news. Right now, my thinking with ETN is I don't really want to draft ETN unless I'm in a best ball until I know more information. In best ball, I'm drafting ETN with the purpose of stacking Bigsby and Jaden and Bashal Tootin with the two. So I want all three together. And it's not a strategy you can deploy if you've already got 2 elite or 3 elite stud running backs. Like if you went Bijan, Bucky, and then you took like Breece Hall. Like you shouldn't be taking ETN, Tootin, and Bigsby necessarily. I mean, you could. I'm doing the ETN, Tootin, Bigsby stack when I'm going hero RB, and then it comes time to fill my running back 2 situation. But like, do I think Tootin will outperform Judkins? I kind of do per start. I just don't know if Bigsby will. If Bigsby's good enough, we'll never see Tootin. But Tootin's the guy that Liam Cohen drafted, and part of me does love Tootin more than Judkins long term. And you know that might feel like a hot take to somebody that owns Judkins, but it doesn't feel like a hot take to somebody that doesn't own Judkins. Like that's really the narrative. In a 12-team half PPR rookie keeper league, 3 keepers drafted as rookies, no drops, trades. Take a Marion Hampton at 1.6. Without knowing who's there, bro, I can't really. I mean, 3 keepers, I assume that's good, but I don't know if there's another player there that I like better. But in a nutshell, in a vacuum, that's fine value in a keeper league like that. Yeah, because we take him in the 3rd round in a redraft. So, but I would need to know more information to really cement that in, bro. Silent Partner says, I'm taking advantage of Dylan Sampson's drop. I took him in the 9th in one draft and would love him in the 12th. So yeah, that's the thing too, is like, where's Dylan Sampson going? Where's his ADP going to go to? So Dylan Sampson's going to plummet because of all the fear mongering that gets unleashed on this topic. So if we go try to find Dylan Sampson, I think he's going like in the 200s or something. Where the hell is Dylan Sampson going? Let me go to the ADP rankings. I was looking at a draft, but I might have been the one that drafted him, so he wasn't on the board. All right, if we go looking for Dylan Sampson, 135, not 200, 135. That climbed a lot higher than it was though. That's about blue now, Benson. That was an update. So Sampson's going 135. Judkins is going 152. Judkins will climb probably to where Tank Bigsby is, about 120 pretty quickly. And Sampson will fall. They'll cross paths again because people are they're going to hear everything that everybody's saying, which I think is very biased. So, you know, right now Tootin's above Judkins by 4, 5, 6 running back spots. Maybe Judkins doesn't climb as high as I think, as quick as I think, though, because maybe people are a little apprehensive about that timeshare that he's in.
I think he will. I think there's enough people. Some of them want to pick 80 puppy draft.
Jeez, man. Jeez, 80. Wow. Okay. I'm glad. I mean, who's that going to bump down? Let me go up and look at a draft. So 80 overall. That means, and it usually takes like a running back or 2 with them. That means that you're probably pulling, you have to pull, if you're going to go 80, you're pulling, well, Aaron Jones and Pollard. Not really drafting those guys anyway. But it'll definitely move Mason down a couple. I mean, everyone's going to move down a little bit. Like when you take somebody and plug them up, everyone's moving down like 1 or 2 spots, right? So that means Mason will go just a touch lower. That means that, you know, Mahomes, Bo Nix, Kelsey, Evan Ingram, all those guys will go 1, 2, 3 spots lower than they were going. So it's really good news if you're not really even that interested in the actual player.
Someone else in the chat who said, "I just think the draft Judkins was 7th and 8th round."
Jeez. Wow. That's great. That's great news. That makes me happy. Definitely excited about that. There's no way I'd take him in the 7th round. But as I said, my prediction seems right then. 8.1. That's what I wrote on the board. That's where I think he'll climb. So pretty close. Nailed it. Jaden Blue. I think he goes ahead of Jaden Blue. He goes ahead of Tajay Spears right now, who's injured. He just keeps climbing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how high he'll go, but 8.1 seems right. Judkins faces no charges. Smitty, your banner. I don't know what that means, Gail. Nice try, but no one understands. And thanks for the breaking news. It's right on the screen. Some people, why do some people even watch? Like, what would make them turn it on? You know, if they either hate me or the show that much, what makes people even tune in? To call me a banner. Do you mean hater? Are you trying to say hater? Is that what you're trying to call me? When do I think he signs? I'd probably say in the next day or so, and I can imagine him being out there Monday or Tuesday. Anything can happen, though, you know, in either direction. You know, it could go any which way. Gavin, you're live. All right. All right, Travis, I'm gonna be back. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Let it go. All right, caller, I'm out of here. So you got 15 seconds. Where are you calling from, and what's your name? 445.
It's Jay from Philly, bro. I called earlier about the right situation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good, bro. I ain't gonna keep it long. I just want to say, yeah, I'm fading that whole Browns backfield. So it's too messy. It's just as messy as the quarterback situation. They playing musical chairs, every skill position and quarterback on there. I'm just out on that. I was going to take Dylan Sampson and Jerome Ford, but after Quinshon gets, you know, in the bag now, it's too ambiguous, and they might give Quinshon some rest at the end of the year because that's their higher capital pick. So, yeah, on that note, yeah, it's just like a huge stay away from me for that Browns backfield.
Yeah, I agree with you. Oh wait, are you still there, Jay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Tough to say, bro. Tough to say what you know, where he's gonna go, and I agree with you. I'm staying away from it. I just don't. Oh yeah, I fixed the banner. Thank you. I just don't know what to make of it right now. I think people are they're delusional on both sides, you know. And I don't say that because I don't want my Samson people to think I'm not sharing their opinion that Samson's better, but you're just gonna have natural delusion on both sides of a situation like this. You're gonna have people that have invested interest in pumping up Samson, invested interest in pumping up Judkins. You're gonna have invested interest in people that stayed away from both of them, that want to continue to say that both of them are a mess, you know. So it's hard to get a gauge on anybody's honest take. And I believe I'm being completely transparent here that Samson did not increase in value today. That's just the nature of this type of thing. But I still believe he's the better back. I always have. So will talent shine through? It just might. Zach wants
See it. Yeah.
Zach wants to know if I'm. Go ahead.
I said, to me, it looks like a worse version of the Jags backfield. And it's just like a terrible version of last year's Bucks. So I'm like, yeah, this is not a team with any direction. They're going to get steamrolled, and at the end of the year, it's going to like a preseason game. Everybody's going to get reps. Everybody's going to get play. Everybody's going to get a seat at the table.
Yeah.
So it makes it genuinely disgusting to even be a part of any part besides, the receiving core of that team, because I would say the receiving core is going to have some value for the Browns team. But outside of that, yeah, it's kind of done for that team as far as running back goes, in my opinion.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I think Sampson's good enough that he could, if he was given a shot, he would be a star. I really think he's uber talent. But the situation got a lot cloudier for him today. Like, there's just no way around that. But doesn't mean that Judkins is in the driver's seat either. He's a lot further away from where he was, so he's got a big uphill climb. So we'll see. But it's just a lot of people like Judkins and Neptune. Like all the people in the chat, like you just got to let them have their day. They've been waiting for this. They're heavily invested. Celebrate. It's good. You got hope. Let the Judkins owners hope. The question Zach just asked is, would I take either one or would I stay away from both? All right, Jay, I'll see you later, bro. The answer to that is probably stay away. And for the most part. Now, I'd say if I'm investing in one, I'm investing in Dylan Sampson still, because that is the player I've always believed to be better before they even landed on the same roster. His cost of entry is about to drop to probably 170, something like that. Let's just say it's going to be free. He's going to be completely free. But so 170 ADP. But the thing I'm going to tell you is, Gavin, hold on 1 second. Then you can have 10 seconds because I'm out of here. The thing I'm going to say, though, is that even at 170, if you're in an underdog draft and you only get 5 running back spots, and one of them's Bijan, the other one is Kyron. Let's say you take Harvey, and you just got this awesome running back situation, and then right here you got 2 spots left. Are you going to take a guy that's sharing carries that may or may not even get in? Maybe, but it depends on who's there. If you come across a player that is in a driver's seat to become the starter, and there isn't really a big struggle like Jaden Blue, let's say, then you're probably going to take Blue. And then you come across a Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, JCM. These 2 guys have value that is just safer. So in a small running back environment where I can't house more than 5 running backs like in best ball, Sampson probably won't find room right now. And that's coming from someone that truly believes in him as a talent, but has become that complicated. If I'm in a league where I have, a running back store, I've got a 20-man league, and I've got 7 to 8 RBs, because that's the way I like to stack my rooms. I'll have like 5 wide receivers. The waiver wire has wide receivers, to grab, and I'm not really that concerned about grabbing, a 6th or 7th wide receiver. I could easily hold Sampson in a room where I had 7 or 8 running backs. So that's how I'd answer that question. All right, Gabe, you got 10 seconds, then I got to go.
Hey, real quick, I know you're not high on this guy, but if you had to choose, like, down to it, Caleb Johnson or Quinshon Judkins in the draft, what are you taking?
Caleb Johnson. But I don't want either.
Johnson?
I don't want either.
Gotcha.
Give me Tootin. I'll take my chance. I like Tootin a lot. I like his system. I like everything. Give me Jaden Blue. I'll take both rookies over him. There's other players I'd take too, like Benson, But these are all arguable things. Anybody that acts like Judkins versus Blue isn't arguable at this stage because you're so ramped up, then you need to go let the dust settle.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I take Bigsby over both of them too. Yeah. All right, later, bro. Yeah, Bigsby over both Caleb Johnson and Judkins. Bigsby by a mile. Mahalo. Appreciate you, Ben. Thank you for all you do as well. This one here from Nate. $5 hauler. Pick 2 keepers. Scary Terry round 5. Mason round 13. Tracy round 15. Warren 10. Already locked into Fields 18. Chase Brown in 16. Man, I guess, look, Terry in 5 is not really a deal. You know? It looks like sexual assault case against Texas wide receiver Isaiah Bond has been, wow. And he faces no further criminal charges as well. Wow, at the same time. This is what we're just talking about. What did I just say? That it's weird that they move so fast with one but not the other. It's either he has that's crazy. So both of these coming down at the same time. You can't hold one up without holding the other up. If you're going to let this guy's life go down the drain and there's no more evidence, they had to figure this out. Isaiah Bond becomes one of the more available players. I love Isaiah Bond. He's a great. I hope he ends up in Buffalo. I hope he ends up in a real nice situation. Man, it's sad though. Isaiah Bond's career got derailed. This is one of those things that just makes me sick for this kid. At least Judkins is going to get his contract. Bond's not going to get a contract, a rookie contract. Bond's better than Matthew Golden. He was the better receiver and in that room. And I think Bond is going to find a job now. This is great news for Bond. Great news for Bond. Wow. It was either going to be this or it was going to be that he's either, looking at far more serious situation that he can't get out of, because his case and Judkins, if Judkins is going to get thrown out so quickly, Bond, it's not fair to Bond. I think this got pushed forward and quickly because they said, if we're going to come out later that this is a a non-issue, we're going to look pretty bad that we let this kid not find himself an NFL team when the Judkins situation was moved along in a speedy fashion. Unbelievable. Wow. Yeah, these charges, man. These charges are just insane. I mean, if they're, and I'm not necessarily trying to say something that I know a lot of you were saying in the chat because we don't know. As for this question, I guess I'm gonna say pick 2. I don't like these options. Nate, why didn't you have better options? I don't like these options. Pick 2 from these. I like Chase Brown and Fields, but picking 2 here, I guess I'd say, if you believe Scary Terry's value, I like Mason. Keep Mason and probably Scary Terry. Unless you believe that if you let him go back in, and I'm not understanding your situation right, that he would go like later than round 5 with this case with the write-ins. Milton's going to start the preseason game. Phone line's closed, my guy. I'm sorry. I'm out of here. Appreciate you all. Keep Mason and Scary Terry, unless Scary Terry's ADP doesn't jive with the keeper values and what round that really is. Round 5, or is it round 5, or does it really feel like round, a different round because of the way that the keepers are written in? So I would say, and if Tracy would be the other one if it didn't feel right. You know what I mean? If you felt like you were keeping him at his ADP, then you could just redraft him. Great news for Bond. No indictment will be issued. This concludes the criminal proceedings on this matter. After reviewing all the evidence presented, grand jury returned a no bill in the assault charge involving Isaiah Bond, meaning no indictment will be issued. This concludes the criminal proceedings on this matter. Wow. Good for Isaiah Bond. Bond, the Buffalo Bills need you. Chiefs, maybe? We will see. And Milton, this news right here, Milton will start. Yeah, Milton will start the preseason game. I'll see you all later. Appreciate every one of you. I'll be back at 8 p.m. Don't forget, I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Live whenever big news breaks, and additionally live at midnight Eastern every single night, practically. We will return. Don't forget to get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com. Don't forget to get on over to Underdog, where we'll be drafting tonight. They'll match your deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000, but the minimum is only $10. We'll be drafting tonight at midnight. We have 2 more live streams to go today. Two more live streams to go today. 8 p.m. Eastern, midnight. We do it live. Who else goes live like this? I don't think so. You know this is the place to come when big news breaks. We go live when big news breaks. See you at 8 p.m.